Roxy Striar. I don't pull this card all the time, but we got to talk about it. We're alumni of USC. This is something I don't ever, I know you from so many other places that I never put you into the USC alumni thing when my favorite people all have come from USC, from going there myself. When did you go to USC? Why don't I know this?
It is so crazy because you rep USC in your clothes a lot.
Always.
Anybody
I'm a huge
knows,
football
everyone
USC guy.
knows you went to USC.
Yeah.
People don't know that about me,
No.
and I don't know what it is. I should probably take more offense to it, that when people find out that I went to USC, they're usually incredibly surprised. Like, oh,
why?
You went to USC?
It's a great school.
That's the answer that I get. Well, I think it is a great school, and I think people are surprised that I went there. And so I should maybe take more offense, but I don't.
Good. It's just who you are, too.
I went there. I graduated high school in 2009. So then
I'm so old.
auditioned into their acting program and then flew out here and started in 2009. And then I graduated early. So I actually graduated in 2012. But
Oh, my God.
my class
Was it BFA?
13. No, so I ended up being actually a BA because I wanted to minor in film.
That's exactly what I did.
And you can't do that in the BFA program without spending extra time there.
I auditioned, got in, decided, wait a minute, that's too narrow a focus to all acting. I want to do film. I want to do these things. So did the same thing, became a BA.
No way.
Did you know Paul Backer?
Yeah.
You know Paul Backer passed,
Yeah.
left us.
I know.
It was the worst.
He was everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
Just everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody loved him, and I don't know how long he was there for, but just anybody I
20
talked
years.
to who went to USC and was in that program.
Yeah. Paul Backer was the guy that after college, he would still show up at parties that I was at.
Very, very inspirational, very kind. Saw
Smart.
you, somebody who really, I feel like he looked at you and he saw you.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
Supported you like crazy. So we're going to get into a lot of that, but it's so funny to me. Are you a USC football fan?
Ooh, when I was there, I really was. And I went to every single game, and I loved it so much. It's challenging as you grow up. What I'm finding is to be a fan of as many things as I am.
Right.
I'm such a super fan of TV, of movies, of sports, especially Boston sports, and then of USC. So I would say I'm a casual fan. Right. I usually make it to about a game a season.
That's what I'm doing, but I don't miss them during the weekend. I wear my jersey every Saturday when it's game day. That's how you're a Patriots fan, obviously.
Huge.
So I get it because that can eclipse a college program, even one as big as USC. But for me, it's my number one.
I get that. And especially if I didn't have the Patriots, I feel like I would have globbed on to USC football more when I left.
Right.
I do have kind of just a hard time with football in general these days.
Okay.
I love it so much, but everything that's coming out about it in the studies, when you're watching it, it's hard not to think about how much damage is being done. You have to turn off that part of your brain just so you can enjoy what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But at SC, I knew a lot of the football players. So when they're your friends, you're really thinking, are you okay?
Wait, you knew USC football players? Who'd you know?
Oh, I knew all of them. I guess I just knew the team casually. I was in a sorority.
What
and
sorority?
So I was a Kappa Alpha Theta.
Okay.
And I deactivated 2 years in because I was not a sorority girl.
Yeah.
And I was a non-sorority girl in a sorority, and that can be really tough.
So I was a TKE right down the street from Theta.
Teak.
Yeah, I was a Teak.
I loved them.
They're good guys.
Really good guys.
They're good guys. And I remember the Thetas back when I was there. Ooh, they partied.
Yeah, they partied, but they were of the houses that did party. I felt like they were the most well-rounded.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're talking about a house of a couple hundred people, it's hard to generalize like that. But
And it changes from not generations, but a few years can go by and the house is completely different because a whole new crop comes in, new leadership, all that kind of stuff.
every 5 years, I feel like a house completely has a different identity.
Absolutely. And sometimes they'll become something awful and get thrown out. Mm-hmm. I remember my dad's fraternity was Phi Delt. I don't know if they're there when you were there.
Yeah, I think so.
But they were booted for bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like really bad stuff.
There was a couple of them that were Pike was booted for some really bad stuff when
Pike,
I was
I remember.
there. They had issues, and then they all moved into the apartment next to mine. So that was
my
a
God.
great place to put them. Theta's expression when I was going there was, "Will you be my study buddy?" That's what everybody used to say about the house because we had the highest GPA on the row of the sororities. So it was kind of a work hard, play hard situation.
Yeah.
And some of the girls were great, but it just ultimately ended up not being for me. When my mom passed away, I was supposed to be back there like 2 days later for a rush.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't going to go back and sing and dance because of obvious fucking reasons. And when I called them and told them I wasn't going to go back, they said, come back for rush or you're out. And I was like, suck my fucking dick. Suck my actual dick.
This is why I adore you, Roxy. We're going to get into this because that is such a sorority fraternity thing to do. That was kind of an ugly other side of the row at USC. So why don't we just talk about all that? Let's talk about that. Welcome, one and all, to episode 18. It's the Reilly Roundtable. This is a show about life. This is a show about movies. This is a show about life and movies and everything in between. And I'm so excited. You heard her at the cold open. It's Roxy Striar. It's one of my favorites, and I'm not just saying that because you're in the room with me. You are absolutely one of my favorites, and I'm going to go into the reason.
Well.
Oh, well, thank you. We're going to go into so many reasons why, but I want to get back on this because of the talk of USC is it's so funny because USC alumni, we take care of our own. It's one of the things we do. But again, when I identify with you, it's with our career and work and like we talk about things. And even when if it's football, it's like, you're a Patriots fan, all this kind of stuff. We didn't talk about USC. I had no idea you auditioned and did the same exact thing that I did.
That's wild.
And then go through the fraternity process, the sorority process, where you're like, suck my motherfucking dick. Yeah. I lost my mother, and you're telling me to give me a break. And that is something I saw happen all the time. My sister, who I think you would get along famously with, was a Kappa. And she's like at SC. And after the first semester, she did I can't remember what did it, but she did the suck my dick, I'm out. Because she lived in Long Beach with her boyfriend. She wanted to live in Long Beach. And there were all these things that they were making her do. And she's like, but I got to study and then I'm going to go home. And they're like, paraphrasing, but if you're a sister, you have to do this. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm not going to stand in a line and scream and yell and do whatever. Suck my dick. And she was out.
So there's so much good to Greek life, and I don't like to sit here and bash it because I still some of my closest friends are to this day Thetas, and they stayed the whole 4 years. And there's so much rah and passion, and we're talking about a great way to tailgate and watch football and all of that.
Yeah,
Greek life is amazing when it's amazing.
Yes,
and when it's not, it's because your head is so far up your own ass because you're so invested in your world that you can't see what the actual world looks like. And I got a lengthy apology about 6 months after, a full semester after, saying, if you would like to come back, we didn't mean to handle the situation the way that we did. And at that point I said, I really appreciate the apology. It's better than you not saying that. Mm-hmm. And no, I have no ill will towards you guys at all. Yeah. But still now kindly suck my dick. Like in a more gentle, romantic, suck my dick kind of way.
Yeah. Thank God for you, because that's an interesting thing and an interesting dynamic from USC that I don't think a lot of people know. Maybe you do if you know the area, but USC is in an area that's not really conducive for going out. Like you're not going to go down the street and like go shopping. I mean, you can. There are certain places out there. It's gotten better. Maybe it's better. It was better around your time.
No, I mean a little better because as the Staples Center grew everything at LA Live, and there are all those restaurants, it was a little better. But still, you were kind of in that world and not going. And as a female being there, it was dangerous. 2 people got shot and killed at my apartment doorstep while I was there.
Yes.
So I'm not really like looking to go walk to the local shops. No.
I lived in downtown my senior year. I didn't ever want to live in the fraternity house. That was
You
just
never
me.
lived in?
No, didn't want
That's
it.
great.
That wasn't for me. My experience with Greek life was when I got there, my dad was a Phi Delt. They rushed me hard. They were like, your legacy. And
Did you think you were going to go Phi Delt when you...
I thought for sure. And then I looked at this one guy in the eyes, and I'm like, you're going to haze the fuck out of me. Like, I can see this.
And I don't want that.
And I don't care to go through that to be your friend. And then I was at Sigma Alpha, and they call it Sigma Alpha Hair Salon. And I'm like, same deal. And I was a theater major as well. I wanted to be in film. I had my eye on the ball after college, where everybody seemed to your point, everything was insulated in this. The row was everything. Everything revolved around fraternity life there. And I'm like, that's not really my thing. I love it. I don't want it to revolve everything about me.
It's part of my life. It's not the entire pie.
Yep. And Teak was like, yeah, that's who we are. And I'm like, oh, okay. And one guy, Eric Hall, I'll always remember him, sat me down and told me everything that he was about what the fraternity was about. And I was like, I'm in. Like, you guys are cool. And then those guys I still talk to every day. Not every day, almost. But like one of my fraternity brothers just texted me yesterday. Like, I haven't seen you in forever. USC game, why don't you come and this? And I'm like, I got a Halloween party. I can't do it. But great friendships. I'm so glad you did what you did. And here you are now. So you graduated 2009? No, 2000.
From high school. So 2012 is when I graduated college, but 2013 with my class.
Okay, 2013. When did you go to AfterBuzz, where I met you?
Yeah. So actually,
well, first, let me ask you, how did you get there?
Yeah.
After graduation?
Before graduation. So
Okay.
in 2010, I was on an airplane from Boston to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm from
Right.
Boston. And Kevin Undergaro, who started AfterBuzz, had been filming a movie in Boston. He's also from Boston.
Yeah.
And he was on the flight, and he was the person next to me.
Oh, my God.
So, and
How perfect is that?
let me tell you, to get to that seat was not, this was not, I don't believe in higher forces really, but there must have been somebody looking out, because I was sitting in a different seat and I was supposed to be in coach. I had $7 to my name at the point, and I was starving, and I knew that a meal on the plane would cost me more, and the only way that I could get free food was if I bumped myself up to first class, where you get a free meal.
Okay.
So I went to the girl before we went on the plane. I said, what do I have to do to get into first class? What can I do? And she was like, sorry, ma'am, there's only one seat left, and we're going to give it to the person with, the most points, or however the programs do it. And I was like, no. See, here's the deal. And I told her
I'm hungry, woman.
Every reason why I deserve to be in first class. And finally, she just got so annoyed. This was on Virgin Airlines. So at that time, it's not like you're dealing with American and they got this whole corporate. At that point, they just were like, all right, fuck it, fine. You can take
Richard Branson will be okay with this.
Yeah, take the seat, whatever, fine. So I had talked my way into the first class seat.
Of course you did.
Because I was hungry, and that is why I ended up sitting next to Kevin Undergaro. So I'm sitting in this seat, and I watch a whole camera crew walk by, and Kevin saying, see you guys after the flight, see you guys. And so obviously, being an actress in film school, I'm like, okay, this is somebody I want to talk to.
Yeah.
So have a conversation with him. 6 hours later, we're still talking. We've watched 2 episodes of Family Guy together.
Oh,
We've
perfect.
been just hitting it off. And he was like, I'm starting this company. It's called AfterBuzz. And I know that you're an actress, but would you want to come audition to be a host for us? And so I said, yes. I came the next week. They were starting the Jersey Shore after show. I taped a test show with them. We had a couple of beers. Boom.
This doesn't surprise me in the least.
So random, though.
It's so random, but that's the way it happens. And God, I could, what you did, I probably would have frozen up, because I was a little unsure of what I was going to. Well, I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment business. But
How long did you know that for?
Oh, God, since I was little.
Little kid.
Little kid.
Single digits.
Yeah, single digits. I just knew that I loved creative stuff. And I knew that when I got to high school, it was like when I kind of honed in and started watching film, and I really got into it. No, middle school. I always knew I was into film and loved watching movies, but middle school, high school was like, okay, I want to do this. How do I do it? Did my research. USC, that's great. You know why USC is great? Film school. And you know why USC is also great? Because it's around the corner from Hollywood. So, okay, Target, got in,
Yeah.
did that. But then I got out of college and I did the dumbest thing ever. I just kept partying. I just was going out every single night.
That transition's tough.
Weeknights were like weekends.
Yes.
And I was waiting
Wednesday
tables.
nights were huge. Wednesdays and Thursdays,
Thursdays were huge for me.
Massive.
So I was just waiting tables, and funny enough, that's how it came around for me. That's where I met Kristian. So it kind of paid off in the end. So
Yeah.
I couldn't change. I wouldn't change it for a thing. But at the time, I'm like just rolling around doing whatever. You see an opportunity, and you go and talk to them, and then you're out of college with a job. Right in the business.
Yeah.
It took me probably 10 years before I really got my first industry job.
But I think that's really important because life is happening for us, not to us.
Right.
And I think that you get things when you're ready for them.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that because, hey, I feel very, very ready to be a star on some show, and it has not happened for me yet. But it hasn't happened because there's some part of me that isn't ready. And I felt ready 10 years ago, and I can tell you now, looking back, I was not motherfucking ready.
Okay.
So I think that even though you partied and you did that, life experience is really important for an artist.
Yep.
And maybe you wouldn't have been ready for the right opportunity if it came knocking on your door 10 years prior.
Absolutely. And in that time, though, I was hanging out with somebody named Lisa Gottman, who was another theater major at USC, how I met her.
Is hanging out like a sexy thing?
No, wasn't a sexy thing. It was a friendly thing. There's a lot of other hanging out that we can get to. You know, we can talk about that. But we hit it off creatively at USC. And then we, you know, around this time was like Good Will Hunting hit. And so we're like, maybe we got to do that. Let's take this shit into our own hands. So we wrote a script that was completely awful. We needed to get that out.
Did you know it was awful at the time?
No, I thought it was great.
You thought it was gold?
Yeah. And then you go back and you're like, oh, this is really bad. So we both get better, though. But the long story short, Lisa and I come together again 2 years ago, wrote another script. It won a screenwriting contest. It has a producer. It just got into another screenwriting contest. It's doing well.
That's
So,
amazing.
life experience, all that. But to your point.
That's amazing.
I got it. I mean, the thing that I see on live, that reference to Kevin Undergaro, who's a great guy. I met and worked with him at AfterBuzz as well. You're just so open, and you work your ass off. The one thing I see about you is you just kill it every way. Like, there are people that I respect. Like, I had a friend that was like, I want to be in this business. And I'm like, great. And I would watch her party and do nothing. And then she'd go, nothing's happening. And I'm like, you're hungover until 5 in the afternoon and then going out again and then repeat. And you're not taking classes, you're not taking opportunities. What's going on? And then, you know, how many people do you know in LA? There's kind of
Oh, almost all of them. I mean, so many of them. I will say that there is a time and a place, and I can't sit here and pretend to be the angel that I'm not. I was a partying, crazy person for a long time.
I'm sure you were, but I don't know. You feel, but
and there's something to that. There's something, if you want to live that life, you have to decide what you want more.
Yeah.
And that's what finally happened for me when I woke up and was like, would I rather live this life that I'm living, get absolutely hammered whenever and wherever I want, be 20 pounds overweight simply because of the amount of booze that I'm drinking, not be able to go to work in the morning. Like, if I used to have like an 11 a.m. call time, I'd be like, it's a little early. So that's a little early with my hangover.
I remember those days.
You know, now I'm up at 6:30 every single day, and I don't go to bed until 2 a.m. every single night, and I'm sleeping 4.5 hours at least 6 nights a week. So what do I want more?
Yeah.
I want to make it. Why did I come out here? Why did I leave my family who all live this beautiful, happy, healthy life back east, and I traveled 3,000 miles to be by myself out here in Los Angeles? Why? I came out here to make it, and that is it. And so I did not come out here to drink. If I was doing that, I would be home with my family and my friends.
Yeah. I get, and see, but that's what I get about you. It's the head on straight. Say what you will about Roxy Striar. What I see
annoying
is
as shit.
People say that, and the Collider Live audience can be hot and cold sometimes, depending on
nice.
one
what
statement.
Do you mean?
Yeah, right. But they are in general. I mean, 90% they are. But every once in a while, you get that one where if it's the twat take, the dong take, what have you, they can turn on a dime. The one thing I notice about you is, and this is what I want to get to the bottom of, I feel like you don't give a shit.
Oh, it goes back to suck my dick. And
Yeah.
so many things go back to suck my dick.
Yeah.
And
I love this.
Anybody who doesn't like that expression, I don't get it. Because tell me one that means the same thing and has that same weight. If you don't like me and there's a valid reason, I want to know.
Yeah.
And so I do read comments. I know a lot of people in the space say, don't read the comments. It's toxic.
Yeah.
It is toxic.
So
but
toxic. Yeah.
every once in a while, I will find something that I'm like, that's going to make me a better host. That's going to make me a better person. That's going to make me a better whatever. So I read all of them because I have thick enough skin that I say, suck my dick.
Yeah.
If you're saying something that you don't like me for some kind of dong or twat take out there. But if you say so, I want to know the legitimate comments. Like, if it is, you interrupt people too much. I have to look at that. Because as a host, you have to not do that.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning timing. I've been doing this for almost a decade now, but when you chime in, when you don't, when you're in a room, a lot of times I'm the A person, I'm hosting a show, a lot of times I'm the B person.
Right.
A lot of times I'm the F person.
Yeah.
Being humble enough to know I'm the F person, I'm probably going to say one sentence this entire 2-hour show. That's fine.
Now you know my job at Live.
But you're also the producer, and you're very good at that.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
try. But that's to my point. I mean, suck my dick, sure.
Sure,
you
sure.
don't care, whatever. But thick skin and, being open to suggestion, being open to go in that minefield, which I know a lot of people, especially women in this space, will stay away from it at all costs, and or read something and it affects them for days. And it's same here. I'm not saying women, men. I'm saying it can, it's done it for me. But for you to be that fearless, you are fucking fearless.
I try really hard. I won't sit here and say nothing's ever affected me.
Oh, of course.
Obviously,
yeah.
if somebody says something, the things that affect you are things that have a little truth to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody says something incredibly hurtful about your life and it has truth, I have soft spots. Obviously,
Yep.
losing a parent at a young age, people use that against me in the comments a lot. Like,
Oh, God.
she's got mommy issues or whatever. Those kind of comments will affect me in a different way than her voice is raspy. How many dicks does she suck? It's like, first of all, none of your business. And second of all, my voice has been raspy since I was 7. What do you think I was doing then, motherfuckers?
Yeah.
So it just depends on what the comments are about. But you have to remember, taking advice from people that you don't know what position they're in life is not smart. You take advice from people that you want to become. You
Yeah.
don't take advice from people who are sitting in their parents' basements. And I don't mean that in a negative way. If you're sitting in your parents' basement, that is fine.
Yeah.
But I don't want your career advice as an entertainment person.
Especially when you say, and I imagine that you've read those comments, and that to me is the most disgusting. I think about people that do that, and I can't even fathom what they're going through, that they have to put that much hate on you.
Right.
To bring up a parent and or, thinking they know you as anybody other than what you're representing in that moment on camera, but that raspy voice must mean you suck dick.
Yeah, of course.
And it's
there's no other options there.
no other options like DNA or, the fact that maybe you're from a certain line of parentage, that maybe this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I don't have – a lot of times when I go quiet over there in Collider Live, I'm fucking cleaning up the mess.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
like
sure.
these.
I can see it
hate
in your
these
eyes.
people. There's something about it that affects me personally when I'm seeing attacks to not only you, Makuga, Kristian, me. Some guy today was going after me, trying to just get a rise out of me, and I was just like, "Oh, you finally did it." Blocked out.
And that's the thing. Is that what they're looking for?
Yes, absolutely.
They want to be blocked.
This
Okay.
guy wanted, because he knew I was running the chat, so he started to say things. He's like, Reilly's a dweeb, and I'm just like, good one there.
Funny,
whatever.
man. Oh, clever. He should write that in a script for sure.
Yeah, then it was something.
Never thought of that.
Then I saw he was doing it again, and then I kind of called him out again. I'm like, this is all in whatever good form. And then he went after Brett and he used the F word, and I was like, you're out. I mean, like, Brett's a fit. And I'm like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Once you go into that kind of disgusting language, I don't care if you have you're hiding behind, it was a blank avatar, of course.
Oh, obviously.
But once you're going there, like, there's the world. We don't need that anymore.
There's people
so
who
go fuck
say
yourself.
that those people you should treat with kindness because you don't know what they're going through.
Sure,
but
that's a take.
It is. It's, in my opinion, a twat take.
It is
because you don't know what I'm going through. I don't know what you're going through. Well, we happen to know more what each other are going through because we're friends. But
right.
I'm saying anybody at home, they don't know what we're going through.
Nope.
It's fine to not know what somebody's going through. You can still be a good person.
Thank
no matter
you.
what you're going through.
Period.
You can still be a good person.
That's what I don't understand. My grandmother always, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? Sure, that's the old saying. But what happened to just being a fucking decent person?
And that's the better word, honestly, because I don't even need you to be good.
Yeah.
Decent. Just look at somebody with decency and be a decent person. You don't need to be great. You don't need to be a hero.
Yeah.
I don't need you to compliment everything that we do.
Right. I don't need that either.
Just decent.
And that's why I look at you especially. You have no idea like what an admirer I've been of you for a few years
You're so
now.
sweet, thank you.
Because of your fearlessness. Like I have such what is the word I'm looking for? But when I meet fearless people, I am completely envious because there's a lot that I do in my own life where I could have been a little bit more fearless there. I could have spoken up a little bit better. I get up here a little bit too much, whatever. But when I see fearless people that are like, they put it all out there. And Roxy, you put it all out there.
Double-edged sword, though.
And that's what I was wondering because, you come on Collider Live and you will talk about your relationships.
Oh,
you
yeah.
will talk about your past, sexual or otherwise. You will talk about the things that make you tick. You will go so personal. I am shocked by it sometimes. I'm not surprised after knowing you. But what is that double-edged sword? What does that do? Do people see that opening and they try to take advantage? I know it might not affect you other than what we've talked about where it can hit you a little
Right.
bit of truth, whatever, but you put it out there.
The problems are, number one, the more people know about you, the more they think they know you.
Yeah.
And that actually is not the truth.
No.
Because if you've never met somebody, you don't know them.
Right.
How people don't know that concept is beyond me. I do not know Ellen DeGeneres. I don't know her. I can't pretend I do. I can't tell you what she's like as a person because despite watching tons of Ellen, I don't know her.
Yeah.
If you put it all out there, people think that they know you.
Yeah.
And they just don't. So that's difficult.
Yeah.
And then there's the fact that it does affect some of my relationships and my friendships. This is something that I care about, and so I give my whole world to it.
Yeah.
And there are people in my life who are not okay with that. And those are not good fits for my life.
Right. I get it.
So it just kind of has to be like that. It was a conversation that Ben and I had very early on where no, I'm not going to sit and recount on air every single fight or every time we have sex or any of the things.
Right.
But some of the things that I feel like could help other people listening, I'm going to talk about because relationships are tough and heartache is tough and navigating your 20s, 30s, whatever, when you're in Los Angeles trying to date is fucking hard.
I can't believe it. Yeah, it's
and people
so
are
tough.
so alone sitting and that's why they listen to us. So if I'm not going to talk about that stuff, then what am I talking about?
Right. That's why I love it. I mean, I love the open book stuff, but I wondered if it can affect relationships. And
Definitely.
It's funny, when I finally met my fiance, I realized she literally gives two shits about the internet. I
love her.
She's like, I don't care. Like I'm like, babe, we were talking about this, our wedding and stuff on the show. She's like, oh, really? What'd you say? I'm like, oh, said this. And she's like, cool. So what do you want to do later? And I'm like, oh, you're okay with that? She's like, I don't fucking care about the internet, Mark.
I mean,
I'm like, oh.
You're so respectful about how you talk about her too.
Oh, yeah.
If you're somebody who goes on air and you bash your significant other, you're a different kind of POS.
Yes.
Like that's, if I was coming on here being like, this is what Ben did, that motherfucker did.
Right.
That's one thing, but like, I don't have a bad word to say about the guy.
No.
So there's nothing that I'm saying that should be upsetting to him. Now, opening the door to our relationship to the world puts me in a vulnerable spot, but I'm
Yes, it
willing
does.
to do that because I think it will help other people.
I love that. Yeah, because you are very open about that. If you don't mind me asking, has he heard anything about on Collider Live what you said?
Sometimes he tunes in, and he said so far that he feels like I very accurately have portrayed what is going on, and that's true.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing. Don't be a moron and make stuff up.
No,
because if you do that, usually you get caught. So
Yeah.
I just say what's happening, and I say it as respectfully as I can to him. And
I've noticed that. You must be very open with him.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're very, very open. It's been a very challenging part of our relationship,
Yeah.
but I'm not sitting here in the dark, and neither is he, and that's really important.
I've said it before. I pull for you guys.
Me too, man.
Because, as you know, and a lot of people know, I've gotten to know him especially because of Schmodown. And, we were weirdly paired up,
I know.
and it's working.
Wow,
We
you guys are
won our
quite
second
the-
match
quite the
just
duo.
recently. Sorry, spoilers for anybody who didn't see it, but, well, it's a day later,
That's
so
on
I
you
don't fuck it.
guys.
Who cares?
I mean, you guys are really quite the team.
Yeah, I love it, but knowing him, he's a certain kind of personality that I get along with famously, and I can look at you as different and get along famously. And so, yeah, on the outside, I just sit there and go, God, I love both of you.
Yeah.
I just
And I think we love each other.
You do.
It's
I
just
can see it.
It's so hard not knowing, but I've put it out there to him now, and ball's a little bit in his court.
Okay.
He knows I want to be with him.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to say to somebody who doesn't know if they want to be with you. And so I've been as open and honest because it took me a long time to put aside my ego.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody hurts you, what you say is, well, do I even want this? Well, I have 50% of the say. I don't even know if I want to be with you.
Yeah.
The truth is, I would like to be with him. I love him, and I want to be with him. And he's going through a really tough time, and he's having a hard time figuring out what it is he wants, and that's okay.
And, God, I mean, this is like dream woman Roxy here. I'm not shitting you either. This is like
Trying to nurture situations with love is always the right choice.
Yeah.
Because once you put hatred in there, or once you put your ego or whatever it is, like people are messaging me all the time, fuck him. Are you kidding me? If he doesn't want you, he's a moron.
Right.
He's not a moron. He's a really smart guy, and he's an amazing guy. And so I'm being patient.
And I feel like you're somebody that doesn't keep score. You've heard this in relationships, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Julie and I went through shit sometimes. We went through, it was tough for a few months. And I felt like we had to come to, we talked about this on live as well, that come to Jesus moment. And then everything it was just like, oh, that was some growing pains, and we got past it.
I think every relationship that goes through something like this turns out one way or the other. You either are stronger or you didn't work out. And by the way, it's okay to not work out with somebody.
I'm a divorced man.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for a reason, and I know for a fact if I would have stayed in that relationship, I would have been miserable.
Miserable.
My life would have sucked because it was sucking when I was married, and it got to a point, and she's better for it.
Yeah.
And there really is just.
But at the time, you never would have said, I know my life's going to be better for this. I know you. At the time, it feels like daggers, and and you think that it's the worst. But actually, it was on an episode of The Flash this week. So funny. Sometimes you get wisdom in the weirdest places.
I love it. Yeah, you do.
And Cisco Ramon he's getting over his ex, and there was a sheet of paper that said to him, if you something about if they were the love of your life, they'd still be in it.
Yeah, it's so true.
And that's just kind of a fact.
Yeah.
If somebody was the love of your, I mean, with not putting passings in there, because when people pass, they pass, and then it's totally different. But if it really was the love of your life, they would still be in it. So you don't know.
That is so true. I remember through that, opening up a little bit of the veil with my own relationship, through that time, through that come to Jesus moment, I called it. I remember being away, driving to, it was when I lived in Long Beach for a while, and the drives are fucking awful to get up here. But I remember thinking to myself, and like literally like fear in my body, I went, I can't live without her. And I said, I can't not love her. Like I don't know. And in my mind, I was trying not to love her. I was literally throwing every single reason why I shouldn't be with her, because what I think I realized at that moment, my divorce was still kind of fucking with me. So I was like, okay, is this her or is this fear and remnants of a hard time? And what my heart pulled out was, oh God, dude, you love her so much. It's ridiculous. And the one thing that kept coming in my mind was I was like in the shower one day, and usually she sleeps in before me, and I leave after, and she gets up. And she got up like randomly and was like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. And she just popped her head in to the shower and went, hi. And that was it.
Wow.
It was just like this, oh my God. I love
Did she
that.
know how you were feeling when you were questioning things? Or were you pretty internal about that?
I was pretty internal. Yeah. The one unfortunate thing that happened after my marriage that I've been working on a lot and still need work on is that I can internalize a lot, and she's like clueless. And she's like, what is going on? Talk to me.
Ben has that too,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I for the reason, a lot of the reasons with the divorce were other things. I'm actually not going to go there. There are things I will remain private, but after the divorce, I was told that I shared too much. So I was like, like I really wanted to talk. I really wanted to get to the bottom of things. And unfortunately, my ex, that's not her thing. She it's why we don't get along. And so in certain things, I felt like I was told I was sharing too much. And then I was like, you want to talk too much.
So now you've gone the other way.
Went complete pendulum the other way.
Doesn't it suck that our baggage does that to us?
Yeah.
It sucks. And it's every single person, anybody who says, I don't have baggage, or you are full of shit. You are crazy.
Suck my dick.
Suck my dick. But it's just not true. We all do. We all do. From the time that you're a few years old.
Yeah.
Because if it's your family, or if it's your friends, or if it's your dreams, or if it's your relationships, or your exes, or your futures, or you just have baggage.
Yeah, you do. And I especially had it going into this relationship. I mean, I was lucky enough to really have a single life for a while before I met my current fiance after the divorce.
How many years were between those two things?
For meeting her, my current fiance, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I was divorced officially in 2011, and I met her in 2014.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So
it was like, a good solid almost 3 years. So yeah, it was like a full 3 years and then some. But yeah, it can rear its ugly head, and I'd have to like, I see what I'm doing. I'm fucking hiding it up here and just sitting there. And she's like, do you like me? And like, I'm like, oh yeah, babe, of course, I love you. Well, why don't you fucking say something, idiot? And I'm like, I'm being an idiot.
Yeah.
Get it. Okay.
Yeah. And also, never underestimate how important it is to acknowledge when you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
I have to do it. And everybody does. If you're doing something stupid, just don't double down. Just realize and say out loud, sorry, I blew that one.
Yeah.
That was on me.
That's from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
I need to do that
I have to
more.
work on it too.
Oh my God, I can be an idiot, and I think she's really good at opening up too. Going the other night, we got into the stupidest little tiff, and we were texting because I had to stop by at home or something, and she texted me and I said something back kind of snarky, and she's like, "Yeah, babe, we're both dorks sometimes. Why don't you just come back out?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right." It's just like those kind of things. She's like, "Yeah, I was being a pill. So were you."
You think it was her in the chat calling you a dweeb? Julie, you're getting blocked.
Again, Internet doesn't care.
Yeah, that's so true.
She's like, when she tweets, I'm like, what the fuck happened out in the world that you tweeted?
Well, remember, we got in that, Julie, you, and there was one of her friends, I think, we got in that weird Uber situation.
Oh, let's tell this story because it's hysterical.
I don't even know how to. We had a crappy Uber driver who ended up leaving us on the side of the road in the rain because we wanted him to roll the window down.
I'm trying to remember what the night was. It was like a party. We were coming from my place. And it was like a party at my place or something. I don't know. And then, we get in this Uber. All the girls were in the back, which was hysterical. And you guys are all doing your thing. And this guy was blowing heat. And
it was so hot.
Yeah.
Like dripping down our face.
Yep.
Everybody was boiling. It wasn't one of the people being like, "Oh, you guys a little hot?" It was like, this is a sauna in here.
And so I was like, "Hey, sir, can we put down the window?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
Well, first we said, "Would you mind turning off the heat?"
Yes.
And he said, "No."
Right. And then it was like, "Well, can we open a window?" But this is what I love. When you and Julie finally met and like realized it's like you guys are very similar.
Oh, amazing.
Just like suck my dick, gives zero shits. And
I'm not going to do something rude in your car, but I am paying for this service, so you can't just have it on 90 degrees and be like, I don't care about the other 4 members in the car. That just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So we got into it with him, and he ended up leaving us on the side of the road in the rain.
Yeah, basically that's exactly. It was like, "Sir, can you do this?" No, and it's like that was a little rude. Something was said that finally triggered this guy, where he was like, "Get the fuck out!"
Yeah.
And we're like, "It's raining," and it's like, "Yeah, who cares?" And you girls get out and leave the doors open, which is hysterical.
Yeah,
and I get out and I go, "Okay, buddy," and I'm like, "I don't think you know what you're doing."
You're in like not a good neighborhood to leave us in either. Thank goodness we had you there.
Yeah, we were under the 7-Eleven,
thing,
and it's raining on us, and I'm like, "Well, we're getting another Uber."
And it was really late at night, and there were tons of people in the parking lot. It was just like, oh God, this is not good.
This is an occupational hazard for Uber drivers that might know us or have a large following, but we put that shit on Twitter.
So I remember
and Uber took care of us.
Julie turned to me and was like, "This is what the internet's for. I finally figured it out. You've got to tweet this.
Yes.
You and Mark have to tweet this."
Yes.
And so I was like, wow, that's so funny that the only thing she thinks that the internet is, the only thing Twitter could possibly be good for is when we have Uber situations.
Now you know. It's like, she's like, "Wait, you can destroy your enemies on Uber is now my enemy.
Take them down."
And it did. I mean, that Uber thread kind of went crazy
that driver
night.
should not be allowed to do what he's doing. And it's not even just the temperature thing. It's the safety issue of, I truly believe if I had been the only person in that Uber, he would have left me on the side of the road that night.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think so. He was a pill.
Yeah.
That guy was pissed.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
And maybe he was having a bad night. I don't know.
Oh, we should be so nice to those people.
We should be so nice. But when you drop people off in the middle of the rain, you can go fuck yourself.
And I had done exactly. I had done my hair. I had done my makeup.
It was a big night.
It was a big night
out. We were going out and having fun.
We don't get that many of them.
No, we don't.
Don't mess up our big night out. It was Sam Levine's birthday.
It was Sam Levine's birthday.
That's what it was.
That's where we were going. It was a rainy night in L.A. And, there it was. But that was I remember that. That was like Roxy and Julie rocking the moment.
I love her.
It was so perfect. Because, and my other favorite story to tell, we talked, going back to the fans, or inviting the open world to be, like when you're in this space and you talk about your personal life, that gives people an idea that they know you. Mm-hmm. So
which is what you're trying to do, essentially.
Absolutely, and I love that.
Yeah.
But my favorite story in regards to you, me, and Julie, who then future getting to know you, is that she hadn't met you yet. And we were doing the Schmoes Know show. And it was that marry, fuck, kill
So this
segment.
is like 5 years ago.
This is a long time ago. This is, almost 5 years ago. And it was just this funny, you're like, oh, well, I'm going to marry Ken. I just remember you're like, I'm marrying Ken. And it was JTE and then me, because Kristian just threw it out there like he does. Like, hey, Roxy, who'd you marry, fuck, kill? And it's just like, and I'm like doing my, whatever. So Ken married. And you're like, well, I'm killing JTE. And it was kind of that funny bit kind of thing.
I got it.
So here I am just kind of process of elimination. Everybody's like, ooh, Roxy, Mark, ooh. And I'm like,
the internet turns that into, I have been for years trying to actively pursue having sex with you. That's how everybody takes it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Which is obviously how I intended it.
This is exactly how we intended the whole thing, that's what was going on truly. Mm-hmm. So then that weekend, it's around Christmas. Julie and I get our Christmas tree. We had been dating for 6 months.
So this was years after that took place.
What? No, this is that week. It was that same week.
Oh, got it.
And or maybe it was a month. It was something.
But back then, so you
back
guys
then,
were,
we were fairly new. We were 6 months in. But she's staying with me that weekend. We're getting a Christmas tree. We're gonna do Christmas night. And I'm like, great. So we get the tree, we put it up, we decorate it, take that selfie. Got to show everybody that we're in the Christmas spirit. And I post that thing, and this fucking guy. Jumps in
I love him already.
Right into the comments and goes, ha, what about Roxy? That was it. I mean, that was it. Where
oh my God.
Julie, God bless her, goes, who's Roxy?
Well, because this poor thing, she could have assumed anything.
Yeah.
I was an ex. I was somebody you were talking to.
Yeah.
People ruin lives and they don't even know it.
Again, the internet strikes again. Internet for her. Fuck it. I don't care. And then I basically went, oh, Roxy, and I pulled up the episode, and she went, oh, cool. So what are we doing? You know, it was just like...
I can't even believe you remembered that enough. Like, I wouldn't have even known what it was referencing.
I remember, I don't know why I remember it so much, because it just was hysterical to me.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, like, I'm like, dude, this is my girlfriend. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And...
What did that person possibly think positive could come of that? Like, do you
Right?
think that they're ever like, well, maybe this actually moves them to the next level in their relationship? Maybe I'm
doing you a favor, bro. Yeah, that's what I did. I got actually pretty mad because I was like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What you like? Here's a nice picture of me and my girlfriend.
It's so hard in that moment because if you get too mad, it looks like you're hiding something. So
Right.
you have to like manage the madness.
Right.
That's happened to me before too, where I'm legitimately angry for the reason I'm saying I'm angry, but people are like, if you're acting that mad, there must be something else. And I'm like, no, that just makes me more mad now.
Yeah. But it was because I was very protective of Julie, and like it took some getting used to what I do. Like,
Of course, how could it not?
you know, this interaction with, social media, being on shows where conversations pop up about sex. That happens.
Yeah.
Conversation, movies, this, that, what have you. And being she's, again, the internet, she doesn't care. She doesn't like to, she's not putting a lot of shit out there. So she's very like, when I get to know you, you are going to know all of me. But I am not allowing that for anybody else. Like, she has a gate and
that
a door.
is totally reasonable. And
Yep.
she doesn't do what we do, so she doesn't have to let that door
Nope.
open.
And she doesn't want that door open. And that's the thing. So when fans will break through that door and then bring her in it, and that's what this guy did. He brought her in on this because we're tagged.
What about Roxy?
Yeah. And it was Facebook. That's when I went, Facebook is now my place. I'm going to kind of start removing those, things.
I don't have a single person on Facebook that I'm friends with that I don't know.
Yeah.
And by no, I'm not talking about Ellen DeGeneres. I'm talking about no.
Yeah.
Went to high school with,
Right.
have worked with,
Right.
have met multiple times from parties or whatever. And I have maybe a couple thousand Facebook requests right now because I stopped rejecting them because they just request again. So I just
Yeah.
don't respond now.
I don't either.
So and I love interacting with people who follow our shows.
Yes.
On Twitter. and
Twitter.
on Instagram.
Me too.
Twitter is my number one favorite, and all day I will tweet to anybody who wants to tweet with me.
Exactly.
But I'm not looking to on my Facebook.
That's exactly the same here. And of all places, when you're tagged on Facebook and your family's seeing it, and that's what happened. This particular post, her sister's jumping in. You guys look great. The mom's jumping in.
And now
you got
all
your
of
Christmas
them
tree.
are wondering who's Roxy.
And this fucking guy literally thinking, and I remember going and blocking him because I was so pissed. I really was. It was like one of those things where, dude, you are so clueless. Like, you really are very clueless.
Or you're not, and you're malicious.
Or you're malicious. Yeah, but that was hysterical, and I think Julie still laughs about that to this
That's
day. It's just
amazing.
one of those stories that I love.
But we're lucky that that's who she is, because she could have not been that person.
Right.
And then obviously she wouldn't have been the right person for
Right.
you if she wasn't that
Yeah.
person. But that kind of stuff people don't even realize can destroy relationships, destroy friendships.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't even know some of the stuff that they've messaged me, the amount of hours I've had to recover with certain friends or family members about.
Right.
You're affecting people's lives.
And I don't think they get it. And I mean, here, fast forward now, how many years ago? Almost 5, right? Now we're here in this culture. This culture of social media is just, it can be wonderful. It could be awful in ways that you touched on at the beginning of this episode, where when I think of somebody going after you with using either your mom or your relationship or your voice or your sex life or whatever, it's just like, wow, we're at this point now, and it's disgusting.
Tell me you don't like my opinion on Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Great.
Tell me that you disagree with my taste in TV.
Yeah.
Tell me that you think rock and roll sucks and you're a country fan.
Yeah.
Sure. Come at me about my opinions, and come at me is too harsh. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
But things that I can't control, not to mention, like I said, I've had nodules since I was 7 years old. I used to be a singer. That was my dream. Destroyed.
Oh, man.
So suck my dick.
Right, and rightly so. Let me ask you this, because you've been now, a great thing that I loved hearing was, DC Movie News, your show with John LaQuasto.
Yeah, Adam Gertler, Mike Kalinowski.
Yep. 4 years, you said?
Yeah,
That's
November is going to be our 4-year. Kristian put that together 4 years ago.
It's so great, but it brings me to a point that, and again, everybody out there listening at home or watching on this video, the fandom gets a bad rap. I will say, gets a bad rap because it's not everybody. Sometimes there are vocal people, like The Last Jedi. Wow, there can be a lot of vocal people. There are vocal people in Marvel.
The loudest people.
The loudest, right. But DC is also pretty vocal and can be, I mean, I've gotten a lot of shit from DC. Certain people, I remember, we did the news here when we were doing Collider News, and it was like, the Snyder Cut, according to the Wall Street Journal, does not exist. So it was like, from the higher up, you're doing that news. Great, we'll do it. We did the news. This guy took clips of us and put them together and made me look like an idiot. And it was like, he was basically saying, you're full of shit, fuck you. And I got this from him. Fuck you, you suck, all these kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're in this DC, you're the host, you love DC.
This is the most wild thing to me.
Yeah.
So I've spent 4 years of my life every week, and if you watch the show, you know that Adam, Johnny, and Mike show up a lot less than I do, and for good reason. We're all working.
Right.
But I have done, I think it's like 170 episodes.
Oh my God.
Of the maybe more than that now, actually.
Sure. Good on you.
Of the show, and I love it. I love DC.
Yeah.
I watch every DC TV show that is live action.
Yep.
Every one of them. There's like 14 of them right now.
I can't keep
and
up.
I watch every one of them.
Yep.
It's hard to keep up with all of the comics, but I do. I love tons of them. Obviously, I've seen every movie multiple times. I love DC.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that some people will tweet at me, I can't believe that you're doing the show, you fake DC fan. You don't love DC. Why do you hate DC so much? What kind of masochist would I be?
Yeah.
If I spend 10 hours a week on DC alone.
Yeah.
At least.
That's what I was wondering. What is it like over there?
What the actual hell are you talking about? And it's just because they'll disagree with some of my opinions. Now, it's been a rough few years for DC. It's not like I'm doing this show at the time of the TDK trilogy.
Right.
It's been a strange few years. Did I absolutely love Wonder Woman like the rest of the world? Of course I did.
Yeah.
So was it easier to be positive about it? Yes. I actually really like Suicide Squad, and I like Justice League just fine. Man of Steel being my least favorite is an opinion. Now, I know that you disagree with that opinion, Reilly, but you acknowledge that it's an opinion. You would never look at me and say, that means you hate DC.
Yeah.
How do those two things correlate? So it's hard. Some of the fans really understand that it's because we love it so much that we are harsh on it. And some of the people think you guys aren't real fans. I don't understand this concept of real fans. If you say you're a fan of something, you're a fan.
Yeah.
That's what being a fan is. If you like it, you're a fan.
I see, and that it sucks to hear that, but I figured. And I mean, that's Jedi Council here sometimes. That's, Marvel, any kind of like.
It's Marvel, it's Star Trek, it's Star Wars, it's DC. And those I would say are the big ones that get it, where it's just, woof.
Can't be a fan really anymore. I mean,
No.
you can't just say, I didn't like this. I like that. That was okay. Not over there, though. I didn't like that one. I mean, the famous story I always tell is I reported on the box office tracking for Solo. And I was called a Disney shill. And then when I actually saw Solo and said, I wasn't crazy about it, same guy called me not a true Star Wars fan. So I was like, can't really win with you, buddy.
Which one is it?
Yeah, am I a shill or not a true Star Wars fan?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've been told that I'm getting paid by DC, that I suck their dick because I want a job with them. Like, which is it?
Which is it?
Am I getting paid by them to be this positive, or am I not a real fan?
Yeah.
Just pick one then, maybe.
And I wondered sometimes too. I always wonder if it's flyby hate. If it's like this flyby where they're just cruising on the internet, getting their DC news, and then SEO hits for either of our outlets, pops up in front of them. They get our hot take. It's the first time they've ever heard us. It doesn't gel with exactly here. So it's, fuck you, you fucking sucker dick. Everybody kill. Shut the fuck.
Maybe, but, I don't know if you remember earlier this year, before Comic-Con, that I was messaged on Instagram. This happened to me a bunch of times before, but this one was a really big one, where a guy messaged me. It started with something Batgirl related. I don't know. Then he told me he knew where I was staying for Comic-Con. He wrote the address of it. Then he said he was going to come kill and rape me, and that he knew that I was planning on wearing this cosplay, so he'd be able to find me at this time. Then he knew which panels I was on and where I was going to be. Yeah,
it's just like cosplay too.
Yeah, so he started messaging me, DMing me on Instagram, all of these things, and he hates me, and that he was going to enjoy murdering me while he was inside me, and all these completely crazy, vulgar things. Started sending me pictures of his dick every day. This was happening. I reported it to Instagram. They said that wasn't a violation of their policy.
Oh, fuck you.
They said that wasn't a violation of their nudity or violence policy, and if that's not violence or nudity, it's literally his penis, and he's literally saying he's going to rape and kill me. And he's saying he knows where I am. So I don't know what you guys could be talking about.
I had no idea. This is what fucking kills me.
So I started taking
hate.
screenshots of it, and I posted it to my Instagram story. And I was like, if you dislike what he's doing, report him too. And maybe if we get enough of them, it will go away. And Instagram didn't actually end up making him go away. He got so much hate from the people that I had posted it to that he deleted his account.
Good.
So fucking good is right. But it's insane because I think the same thing as you. It's all flyby hate. And then there was a month of this. And so it's like there's a flyby people, and that's fine. Call me a slut once. That's whatever. But
this guy has a screw loose.
Yeah. And
this is an absolute screw loose that is and shouldn't be taken lightly.
And obviously I went to Comic-Con very scared. I almost didn't go this year. And I claim this past year. So talking about this is where I'm not fearless because I have to be smart instead of fearless. And sometimes those two things can't happen at the same time. So I had to make sure they actually one of the convention head things reach out to see if I needed security because it was so intense. Not affiliated with Comic-Con, but for one of the activations or something. But I made sure that I walked with people everywhere I was going, that I wasn't walking at night, that I was spending money and taking Ubers instead of walking shorter distances because damn right I was afraid. This guy's saying he's going to rape and murder me. If you're not afraid by that, then you're in trouble because you have to be smart.
Yeah.
And if he's saying it, there's a 99.9% chance he's not going to do it.
Right.
But you have to look out for that 0.1%.
You have to. And I'm glad you're safe.
Me too.
I hate that this happened. I want to do something to wipe that shit out there.
Yeah.
Because fuck that guy.
Yep. Anyway.
Suck my dick, buddy.
Suck my fucking dick.
Suck my fucking dick.
Yeah.
That's screw loose.
Insane.
You are never, ever going to be a full human being with your soul that broken.
No. And I believe people
sorry.
can change, but I don't believe those kind of people can.
That's kind of shit you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
So Instagram, that's on you.
Instagram, that is on. I reported it.
And Facebook, who owns them.
Yes.
That's on you.
This is not a violation.
But I'm going to end it on this and keep it in the DC world because we want DC to do well. I mean, Jesus Christ, people. We want DC to make films that beat Marvel so we can go, you know what? That was a fun one. I like that more than Civil War or what have you.
Yeah.
Not because it's a versus thing, but because we're fans. We love it. Do you have a suggestion for DC right now to like... That's a minefield of a question, by the way. But
you don't mean a specific movie. You mean for a direction going
just
forward.
a direction, because we talked about it on live. We talked about it a lot where it's like they seem to be throwing a lot of shit against the wall. And it's like, what can we expect? Like, are we not getting Superman? Are we not getting Batman? And we're getting Supergirl? Is that what's going on? Like, in your expert opinion, which I call you an expert because of everything you said, what is something you would just go, if they had a box, if Jeff Johns had a box outside of his door and it was suggestions here, what would you write and put in there?
I think that, and people are going to get upset with me for this, and remember, I really like Jason Momoa. I really like Gal, and I think that it's not that they don't deserve to stay, but long term. You have to be thinking long term, and they think too short term.
Yeah.
I think after Wonder Woman 2, we reboot the entire franchise. And I hate saying it, but I think that we need to start fresh, and it's not because I want to follow the Marvel format because it's Marvel. It's because it works. When you introduce standalone characters and you build to the Justice League, that's a different thing. If we had gotten a Man of Steel, and then we had gotten a Batman movie, and then we had gotten a Wonder Woman movie, and then maybe a Man of Steel 2, Batman 2, Flash, Wonder Woman 2, Aquaman. If we had done that, then the Justice League could have been one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
Because...
Totally agree.
And I think we can still get there. But with the current slate that we have, and you can do all of that and have the Joker movie. Once a year, you have a kind of random thing. So the Joker movie or whatever we're doing with Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey world, or if you want to, fine, I'm okay with that. But our core people, it's too messy.
Yeah.
Brad, if you're gonna not have our Batman and we're gonna not have our Superman, which I'm still not sure that Henry is out.
We don't know.
I don't know if Ben's out, but if they're not there, you got to reboot.
I can't disagree with you on that.
I don't want to agree with me, but
the only thing I can think to say after that is like I feel like they're softly rebooting things with the same people. You know what I mean? Like there was a 180 turn on that Justice League movie.
Yeah.
For me, at least, with Superman, a lot of different characters, and I feel like they're literally forgetting about them and just doing. Well, Matt Reeves is going to do something different. If it's tying to DC, we don't know.
But I don't want to I don't want to forget about our Justice League characters and now just do a Joker, do a Supergirl, do a Harley movie. I don't want just those.
Yeah, me neither.
And I know that as a millennial, I'm trained to say, I want this, give it to me. So I know I'm not entitled to what I want.
Right.
But if I'm DC right now, I know that the strongest move is eventually in 15 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever it is, having a Justice League movie. So how do I get to that point?
I think that is perfect. That is it's great advice. People might not agree with that, but that's okay. You know why? Because it's her opinion.
Because it's opinions, man.
And you can just jump on in and hit up Roxy on Twitter, which she loves. And she loves talking film. I'm looking at the camera. Like almost like I'm telling people.
Well,
you don't have to be
true.
upset about that take.
It's like you already know how much hate I'm going to get. You're trying to preemptively save me. I love it.
I will go after them. I don't care. And I think, though, because the Reilly Roundtable, the way it is, I fucking love the people that listen to the Reilly Roundtable.
Yeah, it seems like you got some great ones.
I think that they're just the best. They come in, they talk, they reason, they get it.
Because why would you listen to this show if you wanted to just hate on things? It's not really that kind of a environment.
It's not that kind of environment. And with that, we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap this up. Roxy, this has now been one of my favorite episodes.
Oh.
We were talking a little bit about that. You were like asking me. Everything you said, your life
because of the
view.
DC.
And DC.
That's why you love episodes that have to talk about DC.
I know, right? DC aside, your fearlessness, what you went through with that Instagram bullshit, the fact that you're willing to talk about it, that's nonsense. But all leading up, like, thank you for being on here. Thank you for being open. I adore you, and I adore everything you're doing. So tell people where they could find you.
Everywhere at Roxy Striar. Been on Collider Live Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays,
There
10
it is.
a.m. Over at Screen Junkies on Fridays, and Popcorn Talk DC Movie News.
I love it.
For the true fans, also on Fridays.
Nice. Well, thank you again for coming on. And as always, guys, this is the Reilly Roundtable. That was episode 18. You can find me at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram. And if you so desire, there is a Patreon page, patreon.com/the Reilly Roundtable. We'll be announcing a new show that I'm doing at the $10 tier, something I'm very, very, very excited about. More in the world of screenwriting, more in the world of what I do kind of outside of Collider. The travails of going around and trying to be a writer, and then seeing movies and going, that script was amazing, I want to talk about it. That's kind of what I'm going for.
Cool. I
so
love
if you
that.
so desire, go check it on out. And I appreciate the support that comes there. But that'll do it. Episode 18 drops. It's on the Podcast One-on-One with Kristian Harloff feed. You can find it there, dropping every Thursday. And we're going to be back with a new episode next Thursday. So thanks again. Why don't you rate this episode, send it around, send it to your friends, tell everybody about it, because we had Roxy Striar on, and she just killed it. So for that, I can't wait until next time for all of you to hear the next Reilly Roundtable. See ya.